What I'd like to introduce now is an opportunity for you to hear from 5 of our brilliant customers and how they deliver truly connected omnichannel experiences across multiple devices and multiple platforms. It gives me great pleasure to introduce senior leaders from Iceland, Interflora, The White Company, Primark, and Liberty London for a panel discussion hosted by a Head of Global Customer Success, Muhit Bazit.
Thanks everyone for coming over. It's been great. Before we start, I think it might be best if we just introduce ourselves. So from the left-hand side, Patricia, do you want to explain what White Company does and who you are?
Hi everyone, I'm Patricia. I work at The White Company. If you don't know, White Company is being in a business for about 30 years and it sells multi-categories across bedding, clothing, beautiful fragrance, and all above. So yeah.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I work at Primark with Jane across the digital team, and I feel like you'd probably be best to explain more.
Yep, thanks. So I'm Jane. So Jordan and I work together at Primark. We are on the digital team. Together, our teams create all the inspirational editorial content. We look after the landing pages and really everything non-product related across Primark.com.
I'm Beth. I'm from Liberty London, which is a luxury department store. I am the senior product designer and front-end developer for them.
Hi, my name's Chris Adams. I work for Iceland. We have a frozen food specialist retailer. Got stores across the country, and we do online and obviously international as well.
Jim Clark, head of e-commerce at Interflora, the floral gifting company.
Perfect, thank you. So, first question. When you think about making experiences, what does that mean for your brand? Are there any measurements in place? And first person to answer, Beth, you want to go for it?
Sure. When it comes to Liberty, the main things we think about are storytelling, consistency, and collaboration. Making sure when you walk through the door or you're on the website or on Instagram that everything talks to each other, everything connects, and everything really speaks to what our customers are. So how we sort of measure that is not only through, page views, click rates, likes, shares, everything like that, and also the sales, obviously, but also how we are connecting to our customers. So we often hear from our customer services team, people sort of coming in and telling us that, we've had this really wonderful miniature artists that have recreated our Liberty bag. So it's about that connection that we're really making. That's what we really see as a success.
Thank you. Jordan, you want to take Primark's take on it?
Absolutely. To echo some of what Beth said, that customer experience, from my point of view as digital lead, to make sure that that's a 360 campaign. So again, if you're seeing that in the window, you're seeing it across our website, you're getting that targeted ad, you're seeing it in an email, and the customer can really resonate with that. So our brand, our big seasonal campaigns are macro campaigns. So we really want to make sure that when it's Christmas, everyone knows that it's Primark Christmas, and you can recognize that whether you're in the high street or online. And I think that is a good measure of success for us, to make sure the customer really recognizes what our campaign is and what we're going out with that year.
Perfect. All right. So next question, I'm going to go for, how do you balance the need to tell rich, engaging stories against practical demands across digital and physical channels? Start with Interflora. It's a bit different.
Yeah, I guess same as most people here, we don't see them as mutually exclusive. So top of funnel, we need to tell engaging stories so that customers consider us when they're in that moment of purchase. Purchasing flowers is not really a hugely considered purchase, so we do need that awareness, that brand salience, so that when they are at the moment of purchasing, obviously they consider us. That drives sessions. And then on site, same again really, we've got a relatively unique proposition in that we work with 800 independent florists, handmade, hand-delivered, one-of-a-kind products, so we need to tell that story through the purchase funnel as well. So yeah, it directly relates conversion. And then lastly, with regards physical stores, we're a little bit different in that we don't own our stores, but one of our purpose priorities is supporting our local communities. We need florists on the high street. We need kind of a successful florists, otherwise we don't have our USP. So even though it wouldn't direct us or direct me or the business directly. Absolutely love it if people here walked into their florist shop this week to maintain that that thriving network.
Perfect, thank you. The florist take is really interesting. It's a bit different. We're going to go on to Primark now, which you don't have any florists, right?
No flowers as yet. We do have dried flowers in store, though, in our homeware collection. So for us, there's obviously two points there, Mohit. There's the kind of conversion driving content that you mentioned, and also the rich engaging story content. So for us, we treat those two things very differently, I would say. So we are known and loved for those fashion-led collections, whether it's Rita Ora or it's a more viral product like a Teletubby onesie or the Squid Game pajamas. Those things kind of come into store and go viral on TikTok and sell out for us overnight. We know they will always drive conversion for us. But the other side of Primark and things we're really proud to tell stories about are things like our breast cancer awareness collection. So that launches this week in line with Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is October. So that is a collection we have every year. We have things in that range like post-surgery bras, and we want to make sure that we're offering our customer products they need when they need it at an accessible price. We also have our adaptive range, which is a fashion and clothing range for people of all different abilities. So perhaps you might need a wheelchair. So we've done a range of clothing that the trench coat is cut shorter so you can wear it while you're seated. There's magnetic fastenings down the side. There's different hooks so you can easily pull up and dress yourself. Those kind of collections we know aren't conversion drivers for us. They are going to be in store. The adaptive, for example, is all year round, but they are very important to us as a brand, and we believe that those are the kind of products we should be offering our customer. But in terms of a conversion driver, it's going to be those real trend-led and viral pieces that sell for us time after time.
Perfect. Move on to the next question. Customers engage with content differently based on the sector and the region. How do you adapt this to your content strategy? Sometimes it can be a challenge to be unique. What do you think?
Sure. I think we heard this from various people today. I think for me and for the team, it's about mapping the customer journey and really understand what do you want to be doing it at the point of time. So I attempted to look at campaigns at the different levels, whether it is a big scope or a medium or a small size, and really mapped everything, what's going to be those assets, what's going to be the message, and just make sure that all of those things work across our design. And then when we're going down to production, it's just really easy to introduce those ones. So it's definitely mapping the customer journey, I would say.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of troubles and tribulations over content types and different changes, right?
Yes, we did. Thank you, Mohit, for reminding us.
In terms of, I think the content strategy for food is totally different, right? You're not going to talk about loads of different content types, are you?
Maybe. No, I'm joking. Yeah, so I guess for us, obviously regions for us is within the UK and there's a lot of different rules, but I suppose something that probably most people are aware of, but we've started branching a lot more into exclusive brands. So we're selling products from brands that exist, but not in the grocery setting. So a good example is Greggs. So Greggs obviously have chains of bakeries across the country. We sell those products within our stores. So we've got to translate that brand where they don't have traditionally packaging and messages that come off like that. And we have to take that and bring it into our web setting, obviously selling the product and obviously reassuring people that when they buy that product, they're going to get the same experience they would have got if they bought it from the physical location. And similar with some of the restaurant companies we work with, like TGI's, Las Iguanas. So we have to take product that exists on a menu in a restaurant, package that, communicate that that's the same product, and obviously that it's when you take it home and buy it, that it's going to cook and turn out like restaurant at home. It kind of leads a lot into, the current state of the economy. Not, times are tough, especially for certain demographics. Having that ability to have restaurant quality food at home that they can cook, they can have that night out experience, but at home and with the same quality. So translating those sorts of that brand that doesn't really exist on a box, and then obviously taking it again and making it like a holistic sort of web experience as well. So yeah, that's what it took, right?
Perfect. And if you've been in an Iceland QBR, it's super fun. We talk about frozen food and Greggs. But yes, it's a really interesting journey. There's lots of different sections in the business. This one's a bit of a larger question. Whatever the seasonal drops, product launches, real-time campaigns, how do you ensure you're still relevant? Start with Jim.
Yeah, I think on this one we're probably quite fortunate in that by definition flowers are seasonal. So I don't know, in spring we'd talk about tulips, early summer we'd talk about peonies, late summer sunflowers. Probably can't name many more, to be honest. But we've got that calendar of flowers that we can talk about that resonate with customers who are talking about similar topics. We obviously use social listening to see what is being talked about, and then similarly occasions. A lot of our people predominantly buy from us for occasions, and those occasions are cyclical. So birthdays, anniversaries, and then our three main peaks, which probably unsurprisingly Christmas, Valentine's Day, and Mother's Day. So we've got something year-round we can talk about from both the product and occasion perspective. And then I think the icing on the cake, we've got tons of florist-generated content. So the 800 florists that I referred to before, some of those are kind of multi-generational, family-owned florists. So you can imagine kind of the authenticity and the genuine stories that we can tell about our florist network, about life in a florist, day-to-day running a florist. So we've got that kind of layered on top. So yeah, I think our business lends itself quite well to that.
Perfect, thank you. That was the easy answer because you've got occasions. But Jordan, how do you deal with all this? So product launches, different seasons, staying relevant.
So as Jane has already mentioned, in terms of staying relevant, we are really reactive across digital. So I run a creative hub meeting, which is regularly interacting with people from across the business to make sure that we're looking at it from a customer point of view, but also an internal point of view to know what we think is going to be trending, what is trending, do we have assets to cover it, and getting that content out there so that we're pushing that collection as much as we can or that item. So that's a super important thing that we do. And then in terms of that reactive content, there's so many different avenues that we could go down. So that could just react to the weather. A bit niche. Well, not niche, it could change. But yeah, we can react to the weather, or we can react to a viral moment or something that's trending. It could be a color piece, and we're able to do that quite quickly. And I think a real key message for that is we can react in a way in digital that they can't in store. And we can really push that customer message, which is super important. But the best thing is that we can also combine that with pushing those macros and the big campaigns that we want to, and get that out within the day, which is really important to make sure that we're getting that across to the customer.
And just to follow up on that one, you've got 17 different regions. Do you have to look at...
We do.
Is it more than 17?
17, you're correct.
17 different regions. Do you have to look at like the weather for all those different regions, just so you're not like promoting rain jackets when it's like boiling hot somewhere?
It's definitely a key point, and it's looking at what time of year that is. Just because we have a summer collection out, do we want to be pushing that everywhere? Just because winter is coming out or autumn is coming out when it's still the end of summer, do the people of Spain want to see that? Probably not. So it's just really changing what we're pushing at the front of those carousels. So it might not be a full message, but it's just adapting the products that we're serving them as an immediate part of their journey to make sure that we're customizing to that.
Perfect, thank you. Patricia, slightly different take.
Yeah.
You haven't spoken yet, right?
No, not yet.
All right, let's see what you got.
That's all right. Yeah, it's very similar to what we're saying. I think for us and to me, it's looking to the data. So we spent like really long time planning it, months ahead, like planning it, and then we have our content, whether it's going to be small, medium, or larger scale. But once we go live, we're tempted to look to a real data and really adapt it. So we really go into any campaign or trade activity, knowing what is our objectives and our KPIs, and then adjust it along the way, and not be shy to say it's not working yet. So we've done some campaigns within the app. We've got like a team here that can really echo to that. We introduced an app about a year ago, and we're still learning quite a lot along the way. So we learned that some of the things that we've done for app hasn't really worked, but it hasn't really put us to shy to try different things. So really being close to the data, understand the behavior, and adapt it to that. That would be my real-time nudge.
Perfect, thank you. We'll go to another question, and I'll try to head this way. What role does personalization play in your content strategy? How do you manage the complexity across millions of customers? I'll go for Beth.
Yeah. We're lucky to recently have been onboarded with dynamic yield, so that's going to really ramp up what we can do with personalization. Beforehand, we do have sort of a very diverse customer group. We are a department store. We have an established fabric team. We have beauty, fashion. We've got it all. So we obviously need to make sure that we're speaking to them in their own language. So I mean, before dynamic yield, we have a lot of social platforms. So Instagram, we obviously have our own main Instagram page for Liberty, but then we have personalized ones for fashion, for fabrics, for in-house fabrics. So we're making sure that those sort of touch points are coming to the website. Even though the website is the one website, we're talking to them in different ways outside of that. But yeah, I'm very excited about dynamic yield. So now we can do with affinity profiles. So really looking forward to that, to making sure not only are we personalizing our content outside of the website, but on the website as well.
Perfect, thank you. I know you guys work with dynamic yield as well, but in terms of personalization, what do you do for your content strategy? It doesn't have to be dynamic yield.
I would say we're at the beginning of our journey from personalization point of view, but we do a lot of content around localization. So you just mentioned our website is in 17 regions and 14 different languages. So we try and show up in those regions with the content we think our customers are going to see. So it might be a piece of content about King's Day in Spain, which is their Christmas day, or Thanksgiving, of course, for the US, a music festival in Italy. We are creating content all the time for those different regions about things that we only have in that region. We'll then also link up with CRM to make sure that when they go out with that email, that piece of content is also available to them. And we've also recently done we've done two actually, region-specific campaigns. We did a campaign in Germany called That's So Primark, which was all about trying to change quality perceptions in that region. So it was a campaign talking about our sustainable cotton denim range and also 100% linen. And that was a campaign that was only in Germany, in the windows, at bus stops, all across the board. And then we've done another dedicated campaign in the US. But this time, that was about trying to make sure people know who we are in the US. We don't have all the history there. We've been there about 10 years or so, but they're still learning who we are. Obviously, the States is a very big place. So that campaign was really telling our story and trying to make sure people know that we are a kind of fun, young fashion retailer for them over there.
Lots to do then. I'll go for another one. I would like to kind of come back on that one a little bit more, but omnichannel success depends on collaboration across a large variety of teams. I mean, in terms of you and Iceland, Chris, there's Brandback that comes in. How do you work across like the digital teams, the product teams?
Yeah. So I guess a little bit about Iceland. So we have our own delivery network. So there are vans. We ship from our own stores. And I think the way we look at our office-based staff is we're kind of like a support vehicle for the people who are doing the real work, packaging the orders. Obviously, the nature of what we're selling, grocery, it's multi-item orders, and availability is different across the country. Obviously, stores are different sizes, have different levels of stock, etc. So we really have there's tight collaboration really in terms of, because we've got not just our own delivery that's happening. Obviously, we've got in-store, people turning up in-store, shop and go, and also drop ship partners coming into the store and picking up orders too. So we've obviously got Uber Eats as a good example. So we've got our own delivery network being fed from store, delivery partners coming and picking up small orders. The staff in the store are helping fulfill those and serve customers. So in terms of how we market and how we promote, we have to be aware, obviously, of the capacity, and we use regionalization in the sense of the UK regions and obviously store-specific differences as well. So we use commerce behind the scenes, sort of control what we're targeting, which message to, and obviously Amplify sits on the top of that, serving the content. So I think it's a real collaboration because obviously it's our in-house network that's providing the lion's share of the orders and making sure when we're not promising things we can't deliver. And obviously from a customer's point of view, shopping groceries, when we say we're going to deliver it, we have to deliver it, because if we don't, there's plenty of competition to feed that need.
Perfect, thank you. And we'll go to more the traditional department store side of things. Beth?
Yeah, we are sort of a more creative business more so than Iceland, I have to say. But how we keep our teams collaborated. We do sort of try and keep everything, communication basically. We make sure that we're talking to each other. We do hold sort of ideation sessions. So if we're working on a campaign, everyone's in the room, everyone has a voice, not even if you're not from the design team or product team, even if you're from customer services, if they have a great idea, they have a great idea. So it's making sure that, everyone's working together, because it only works if we work together.
Thank you. Next question. This one's a really big one. I have to read it as well. What tools and tech, obviously not Ampliance, but have helped you deliver consistent and connected customer experiences across all channels? So web, mobile, and app. Primark team, I'll let you both answer because you've probably got different takes on it. Do you want to start, Jane?
We can't mention Ampliance.
No, you can go for it. You really want.
It'd be remiss not to at the Amplify 25. I mean, Ampliance really does allow us to create content once and then push it everywhere for us. So that is web, that's mobile, that's now app, which we've recently launched in 2 regions. So it kind of that goes without saying. We also work with dynamic yield. So that is our experimentation tool. And I think this year we'll spend a lot of time looking at what components they have we can bring into the website to kind of push that personalization for us across the board. Commerce tools is very important to us, obviously, across click and collect. And I think probably from your point of view, Jordan, much more of the design tools you could add?
Yeah, absolutely. So majority of my team are using Figma, and I think that's a really, really good example of having something that is a live document. All of your teams can feed into that. It's shareable. Everyone can take parts of that and make sure that they're using it across all the platforms, all of the teams. So I think that's been huge for us, particularly within the last year as we've expanded, like Jane said, onto the app. That's been really beneficial. And then I guess in terms of planning, we are using the likes of Trello, Monday.com, and all of those things, again, have plugins. So that will feature into them being more agile, cutting down on that interaction time. Like you said, communication is really important, but also letting someone know that job is complete. If that process can be automated, it does save the designers a lot of time. So I think things like that, looking where we can weave more of that in as we go along is going to be, really, really helpful for us.
Perfect. So loads of tools, loads of partners. Excellent answer. Patricia, anybody else?
Yeah, same. Lots of tools. I think to me, it's about get to know the tool deep down. So it's really hard to have like multiple tools when you don't really know how to use it. And then we ended up asking things for developers, and actually was a simple thing that we could be doing ourselves. So when I started Y Company, the team knew how to use Ampliance very well, but did not have the curiosity. Was a lot of the things were just like through legacy, just I got to know how to do this because. So I'm really like to be experimental and just like try things, partnership with our developers, and just like to see what can we do best and then utilize it to its full potential. So through Figma, through Ampliance, Dynamic Yield, or any other things, is really maximize and go a deeper level. And I think one of the talks earlier talked about this into detail, so I definitely champion to that.
Excellent. Thank you. And then kind of moving on to the future. So what trends or innovations do you think will have a bigger impact on how brands connect with their customers in the future? Omnichannel retail. How will you keep pace? Let's go for Jim with flowers.
I guess we've not spoken much about AI today, so I'll go for that, and specifically LLMs. So the trajectory that we're seeing from both a sessions and transactions point of view from LLMs is not like anything I've seen in the quite a few years that I've been involved in e-commerce. So that change in where customers are coming from, absolutely, the trajectory. Obviously, it could change, it could flatten, but as it stands, it's going to overtake our organic search traffic and sessions within 2 or 3 years, which is incredible, and maybe that won't come into fruition, but that's the current trajectory. So that's the big one here and now. As for the future, I think same as one of the earlier speakers said, obviously if I knew that, I'd probably be getting paid 10 times what I'm getting paid and wouldn't be in the role that I'm in now. But what I do know is we've got both tech and e-com knowledge across the business. We've got data and insights team, so we're looking for, obviously, what's coming next. We've got a product manager who's here today, who's got a vision for our e-commerce platform and new routes to market. So we're absolutely all over it. And then lastly, we do ensure that we bring an external lens into it, because you can get trapped in kind of your own bubble. So in my case, the Interflora bubble. Both me and my colleagues have been with the business a lot of years, so you do need to get that external stimuli so that you don't miss what's coming next, so that you do come into events like this, so you do hear about the next big thing. What I would say is that what's important to customers now, so shopping local, kind of environmental responsibility, human connection. I'd like to think that whatever the next trend or innovation is, kind of supports that, isn't at odds with it, and I'm quite confident on that front. And if that's a given, then we can continue to support the local florists as we do today.
Excellent. I think the whole keeping pace with the future it's a really interesting one. Obviously, COVID happened, we changed our retail strategy, and now we've kind of gone on a different trajectory. The flower business in general, and this whole LLM looking at real-time search is important. When you talked about people wanting things now, it's really interesting, because when we talk about Iceland, earlier you mentioned about people wanting things now within a couple of hours. Has that affected you? Does that worry the Iceland business in some sense? Is that where we're going?
Yeah, so I think one of the things we've seen, and since I've started working at Iceland, they're similar in terms of like trajectory. But in terms of going back to, we've got our own fulfillment network, our own vans, and we've obviously got partners as well. One thing we've noticed is that we used to have a lot more planning of shops. So I guess when you think about your own lives, like when I was growing up, it was like you had your big shop, and then you'd go and top the big shop up. But what we've seen is that we offered free next day, and you can plan up to 7 days in advance for a slot. But when we brought out our same day offering, so you can book today to have your shopping delivered today, is now nearly 50% of orders. And it's the line of that increase, it's going to overtake planned shipping. So the key thing obviously is having that network in-house lets us do that, because we've got specialist trucks. Obviously, we're delivering food, frozen food, so it can't defrost, got to be within certain windows, can only be out of the cabinet a certain amount of time. But the demand for shorter window cut-offs, so half an hour cut-offs for delivery within 2 hours, and we're trialing at the moment 24-hour trading, and so we're offering delivery slots in a 24-hour window. So you can have your shopping, you can book a shopping at just after midnight for 2 in the morning in some stores. And a different type of challenge, because the stores are never off. And if you think about the colleagues in the store, they'd use the out of hours to top the shelves up, but they'll actually be filling orders and topping the shelves. So it's the demands of the network. And obviously it's like the prime effect is what we look at it internally, is that people have gotten used to, I need a set of scissors, go on Amazon, order it, and they'll arrive the next morning. That similar sort of demand. So they're planning less for the meals. They're buying the kids' tea at 3 o'clock for delivery at 5 o'clock that day. They've forgotten stuff for lunches. They're ordering it now. So they're prepared to pay for the delivery, even though we offer free delivery tomorrow. They're prepared to pay more to get less because of the convenience. And it's the same sort of trend with our delivery partners. So Uber, some of the drop shippers, again, the radius that people live away from the store location is quite small. And so they're prepared to pay for the service to get someone to deliver it within a really short window. And I think in terms of us keeping pace with that, that's the advantage of having the store network across the country, because the customers don't live very far away from the fulfillment center. So yeah, I think that unless it changes, that's the massive uptick we've seen, is that we want it. Don't want to wait. Don't want it. Order it for tomorrow. I know what I want now for tonight, or later today.
Perfect. Does anyone else want to mention anything about just the future and anything they're worried about or even doing to change things up?
I can talk to AI for
Go for it.
At Primark. So we've been on a really exciting journey already using AI, working very closely with our good friends at Amplify. So we are now using AI for product descriptions, for alt text, for SEO content. And although we've done a lot of work already, I would say we're still really at the beginning of how much we want to do in this space. Rachel, you've been asking me for quotes and stats all day, so I'm going to do one live on stage for you. Our web content designers, who are all in the front row, they previously did handwritten alt text on every single image in an article. We now have that all supplied through AI, and that has saved the team 9 hours a month in terms of their workload. So freeing them up to do the job we actually brought them in to do. And so if that's kind of one stage of what we're doing, I think the future looks very exciting with AI.
Perfect. Wasn't planted at all, right? Thanks. Conscious of time, we'll call it a conclusion. Thank you, everyone.